Welcome to the Country Hipster Podcast. My name is Paul. I am the Country Hipster. To my left is my co-host and brother, Adam. That music you just heard was... Oh, sorry. You getting sexy voice?
Yes, I just want to give one sexy hey guy.
There you go. Sexy co-host, Adam.
What are you guys wearing?
Always gets weird when you do that.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's how you do it, man.
All right, cool. All right, so
You got to lick your lips to make them more comfortable.
okay, is that how that works? Adam is the country creepster.
Yeah.
HottsvilleRecordGarage.com, promo code 2TWO for season 2, which we are on episode 2 of season 2. Today, get you 15% off of your entire purchase. Once again, HottsvilleRecordGarage.com. TWO, not TOO to be confused, or the just TO, just TWO to get you 50%. So, one of the things we mentioned before we talk about this is our, we got like, it's all the way over there. We have like two, I had to grab the card.
Oh.
We have 2 new things on season 2. One, you already know about from episode 1, where we talked about Of Mice and Men with our special guest, Haley, Adam's daughter, and that is our listener picks, which the listeners this season get 10 picks. This one is also a listener pick. It is Lindsay, Buckingham, and Stevie Nicks. Buckingham Nicks is the album. But before we get into the album, we have a new segment of the mystery beer segment on the podcast here now. So what Adam did is, after we did our in season 1 our Cinco de Mayo show, where I made Adam drink the chelada, which he absolutely loves.
Yeah, totally,
he loves. There may be one in the cooler for you, maybe. But he sent me a thing from on Instagram. Mike, I don't know if it's Mike Verse Beer or Mike's V's Beer, and Mike VS Beer.
I'm pretty sure that's Verse.
Oh, I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if it was Mike V's. You know what I mean? Like Mikey, like maybe his name ends with a V, like his last name's Valentin or something like that, or so it could be Mike V's Beer. Shut up, man. All right, so Mike Verse Beer. All right, whatever. At any rate, he sent me the thing, and it's actually called
Valentine, or like still fucking
whatever. Hey, listen, I don't fucking know. I don't know what people mean, like their meanings and their handles and stuff like that. I don't always know. That's why I literally spell out the Country Hipster Podcast. You can't get.
We should message them, be like, "Yo, what's your last name?"
Yeah, what's your last name, buddy? But anyway, so they have this thing, and I've noticed there's a couple other like beer Instagrams doing like reels about this, called the Brulette Challenge, which is basically you take a beer. It's like you don't know what it is. You pour it into a glass, or you just take a sip, and then you're supposed to guess what type of beer it is and whatnot, and then you find out what it is. So we're going to do that to an extent. I'm not really so much concerned about the guessing what type of beer it is. The more like, how much can I make you puke from the beer you're going to drink? That's really what I'm going for, is how disgusting of a beer I can give you.
I mean, I've had some weird fucking beers. I've had beers that are like made with like carrot juice or some shit. Yeah.
So that's the type of shit.
It's like bright orange. That one was good though.
That's the type of shit we might get into. So this is the one you grabbed for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this is the one I grabbed for Adam. It actually says Adam. You can't really see it because of the lights, and that's.
You did a way nicer wrap job than I did. Mine looks like shit.
I do everything nicer.
Mine looks like it went through a fucking train wreck.
Yes. So here's what I want to preface this. So we're going to have 9 of these episodes on throughout season 2. So we're not doing it like every week or anything like that. But we will have 9 of these. And here's what I will tell you is that I did not get you any of the varieties of chelada for this episode. I will
for this episode.
For this episode. It doesn't mean I won't eventually. I'm just saying for this episode you are not drinking a variety of chelada. So the question is who wants to go first?
Joke's on you. You are drinking a variety of chelada.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. I can't wait.
I'll go first.
You'll go first?
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. Adam is going to pop over his beer. As you said, they are tinfoil. I don't know what Adam got me. He has no idea what I got him. I'm gonna pour it in before you do the smell test.
I just want to get a
little sniff. Yeah. So he's pouring his beer here. It's a big one. Sometimes we go with the big beers. So we'll see. It's got a nice color to it. Looks pretty.
It's got about the color of High Life.
It does. It does actually. It's a little more yellow.
Yeah.
Than High Life is. Yeah.
All right. So it's nothing. I don't think it's going to be anything like. And it doesn't have a smell like it's like something crazy.
Yeah.
Like. I'm not anticipating like a high alcohol content. And it kind of has like a slightly like almost like a weird like fruity taste to it, which leads me to believe that it's something shitty.
A fruity smell.
Yeah, like
okay.
like that fruity
like an aroma.
That fruity not like a fruit like that fruity smell that like shitty beers have, like piss water beers have. Like
okay,
they have that weird, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Almost like a metallic smell as well.
Yeah.
It's got like no head whatsoever, which also leads me to believe that it's a shitty beer.
Yeah. Yeah. You tasting it? Yeah.
I feel like I know that.
You probably do. You probably do know it. It would not surprise me if you knew it.
It's American?
Why don't you just open it and see?
Because I want to try to guess.
Oh, no, it's not American.
It's not American?
It's not American. I mean, it might be brewed in America, but it's not American.
It's not American.
It's not American.
Canadian?
Nope.
No?
No.
Because for a minute I thought Labatt.
Do you like it?
It's not bad.
You're digging it.
It's
shitty beer.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'll admit it is shitty beer.
It's not American. Is it Tecate?
It is not Tecate.
But it's Mexican.
It is Mexican. It is Mexican, but it is not Tecate. Honestly, I don't remember.
It's not awful, but like of like Mexican beers, like and like now that I know that it's Mexican, that fruity thing is making more sense.
See,
like it has that.
This is where I'm going with this because you're sitting there talking all that shit about all the Mexican people.
No,
and their
but
delicious beers.
It's.
Mm-hmm. So
it's not Tecate. If it's not Tecate, then it's Corona.
Okay, so of the Mexican beers that you've mentioned before, what are the ones that you hate? We know you like Modelo, with the exception of the Chelada, which I did not do.
I don't like Corona.
I don't like Corona.
I mean,
because there's a few that you mentioned in the past, like I hate that fucking beer, and it's Mexican beer. I
can't remember. Like I know I've said I don't like Corona.
Uh-huh.
I know I've said like I prefer like the darker Dos Equis over the regular Dos Equis.
Right.
Sol isn't great.
Okay.
Victoria's fine. Presidente's whatever.
Okay.
But I feel like it's Corona.
Okay, so before we reveal what your beer is, just what would your, obviously we know it's a shitty beer. So,
yeah.
So, going on a shitty beer scale, we know like for a shitty beer, it might be like a 5 or a 4. But as far as Mexican beers go.
Are we going scale from 1 to 10? 1 to 5?
1 to 10. So on a scale of Mexican beers, just strictly Mexican beers that we know are shitty Mexican beers, where would you put that?
I don't know. It's drinkable. There's not much flavor to it. Like I said, I get like a shitty Pilsner or like a shitty Pilsner fruity / metallic smell.
Okay, well the metallic might be from the can as well. So all right, well go ahead and reveal what your beer is there.
I'm going final guess Corona.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think it's gonna be a Corona because I think you'd be smiling more. If I could fucking open the damn
I know it's like Christmas. It's like Christmas trying to get it open. In the meantime, I am going to pop open my beer while you're doing that.
Oh, is it a Pacifico?
Pacifico.
Oh, okay. That's the best taste of Pacifico I've ever had.
That was one of the ones you had mentioned as being shitty beers, like beers you didn't like. This beer is horrible. Maybe that's one of the reasons I grabbed it.
Now, I've only ever had Pacifico from a bottle.
Okay.
Maybe Pacifico from a can just tastes better because maybe it needs that metallic taste to it because it tastes better than like Pacifico that I remember.
All right. Well, there you go. We've found another. Mexican beer that Adam actually likes.
Cans of Pacifico.
All right. And so I got my beer here that you grabbed from me. I am a little bit scared as to what you have.
Go ahead and open it.
Go
ahead and open it and pour it.
I'm going to pour it. Okay.
And let me give it, give it a smell, give it a whirl.
I'll give it. Yeah.
Because I should warn you about something about the beer that I got you.
All right. So this is it pours pretty like light. It's got like a hazyish color to it, like kind of like a wheat beer, almost like a blue moon type of a look.
I feel like I can smell it from here.
Oh no, that's an IPA, and that's a heavy IPA.
Let me smell it.
I can tell you that much. I can tell you it's an IPA. Now I
also got you this because I saw the can and I wanted to try it.
Oh, okay.
So you can let me have a sip of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's what I'll say with IPAs. This is definitely an IPA. I don't know if I don't think it's a hazy IPA. I think this is just a straight IPA. I'm pretty sure by the smell that it's not a double IPA. Which this is what is bothering me about it, is that I really only like hazy or double IPAs. I don't particularly like just straight IPAs.
Yeah.
Never been a real fan of them. So, but no, it kind of looks like a wheat beer until I smelled it. I'm like, nope, that's an IPA. So am I right that it's an IPA?
It is.
Okay, so it is an IPA. Usually, like, I'll try Katie's IPAs. And she likes the real, like, big IPAs, the real heavy IPAs, where I do not. So I'll try a sip and I'll be like, oh god, no, that's horrible. It's not a citrusy IPA either. So yeah.
Now before
before
you take a sip of it, just let me tell you, it's 9.5%.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I didn't realize that until I was in line to buy it.
9.5%, because that's the thing too. I don't like big heavy beers like that either. I'm not big on these like high alcohol 9%.
But I'll give you a clue. It's local.
It's local. Okay. Well, that doesn't really help me.
Which is also a reason why I wanted to try it, because it's from a local brewery that I've never tried it before.
All right, here we go. Oh,
you all right?
Yeah, it tastes like puke. Oh god.
Try it.
Oh yeah, Jesus, that's not good. That is not good. It's but like, here's the thing. I bet you IPA drinkers fucking love it. It's IPA drinkers, like people who like just straight IPAs.
It's enjoyable to me.
Yeah, so like it's me. I don't like big beers. I don't like just straight IPAs. This is probably one of those like fucking dry hop double IPAs and it's fucking 9%. I'm gonna take another sip because I'm a fucking champ like that. I'm not finishing this, but I'm gonna take another sip. Just to get it more, like, besides, if I could get past the pukey flavor. After, like, I got the done, it actually did have a smooth finish. It did actually have a nice finish, which is why I'm thinking it might be like a dry hopped, like IPA. Oh god. Oh, that's all you. Oh god. So what monstrosity do you have me drinking here? Oh my god. Whoa. This is really fucking weird. This is Graffiti Highway, a double IPA.
Yeah. From Trogs.
From Trogs Brewery, which we've been to, and I've had this on draft and really liked it.
Really?
Yes.
That's even more interesting.
It's even more interesting. Like, I've had Graffiti, like when I played a horse the first time I got it, was like, but maybe it's a different Graffiti Highway. I don't know, because that was a hazy that I thought it was a hazy. Wow. Oh yeah. Like, wait, you missed where it says real big 9.5% on it?
Oh, I didn't realize it was 9.5%. I saw the can was like this. The can was facing this way in the thing. So I picked it up because I saw Trogs, and I saw a lot of times when I go and I'm like, if I make a custom 6-pack, sometimes I'll grab shit just because the can looks cool. It's a cool fucking looking can. And I didn't realize it was 9.5 until I picked it up and was looking at it in the in line.
Okay. So here's the thing. Okay, so there are. Okay, now I have had the Graffiti Highway IPA. Okay,
there's a
which I'm gonna get, which I've had on draft and put it at a 4.5 on Untapped. But this, which is what this is Graffiti Highway double IPA, which is an imperial IPA, hence the bigger alcohol content and why I don't like it. Okay, I feel so much better because I'm like, no, I fucking like this beer. So the
you like its little brother.
I like its little brother. Yes, okay. I like its little brother. I like its little sister.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put it that way. So this is the regular Graffiti. The regular Graffiti IPA is only a 6% ABV. So and it's more.
That's not a terrible IPA.
No, and they have it listed here as a just a regular IPA, but it's much more of a hazy than it is a straight IPA. Whereas this is, which is funny because I said I like double IPAs, but it's the imperial part of it, because there is a difference between an IPA and a double IPA and an imperial double IPA. Like those are all fucking different things. So and I do know that. I know enough about beer to know that much, and I know that this, like, no. So I'm gonna drink the rest of your Pacifico, and you can have your fucking double imperial IPA, Jared. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Just so you're aware, I almost bought you a Four Loko.
I almost bought you a Four Loko. So, but no, I really did. I was like, you know what? I'm like, and it's funny because when I showed Katie what I got you, she's like, you got a Mexican beer. Of course you're gonna get a Mexican beer. It's so predictable. I'm like, I'm being nice. It'd be more predictable if I got you a chelada. Yeah. What's great is that the chelada's gonna come. You're not gonna know. You don't know when. You're not expecting it. I'm just telling you, of the 8 beers that we have left to do this on, one of them will be a chelada, and I'm not telling you which flavor. So, because there's like 4 different flavors.
The only problem is I have so much fucking foam on that. I have to imagine that all of the geladas have a very similar color. They all have that. No, really, they don't,
because they're not all tomato based.
Oh, really? They're tomato based, and I'm sure one of them's got to be fine.
I mean, we'll find out, won't we?
What are the other flavors?
I forget, but there's like 4 different flavors.
If there's ones that aren't tomato based, I might enjoy them.
No, maybe,
because the only thing that was wrong with that one is the tomato based. Because I fucking hate tomato juice.
I don't know. We'll see. It's also because it was Mexican.
I'm super interested now. I'm super like to try non-tomato enchiladas.
Yes.
I'm super excited now.
All right, cool. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm sure at some point that will come up on our 8 other beers that are mystery beers for season 2. So I hope you guys like that new segment here on season 2, and new whole like format on season 2 is the listener picks. As we had said in last week's episode, that throughout season 1 we asked listeners to give us your suggestions for season 2.
I got foam on the microphone. Jesus. It's fucking double IPAs, man.
So we got some really good suggestions. It's not 10 different people because, we didn't have 10 different people, especially early on. And when we shut it down, it was full, pretty early on. I think we're going to do a similar thing for season 3. I just haven't posted it yet. And, because ultimately we're going to have only so many albums that were really of our own that are going to be interesting. You know what I mean? To people other than us. So I think as we're like evolving, we'll have to change some things up, get more listener stuff in, or maybe even talk about albums that we know we hate, which could be fun. So, but at any rate, that's season 3. We're just like, knowing us, season 3, season 2 is going to go on for another 15 years, 6 months, and 3 days. Who knows? But at any rate, this is a listener pick. This comes from.
I don't know why, but I wish I could remember the number from Rent.
1,000, 2,500, 600 minutes. Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
I didn't say the right number, but I know I got the right. I got the last part down. 600 minutes. That's all I got. 600 minutes. Yeah, or whatever.
And everyone has AIDS.
That's not Rent. That's from the other one.
Oh, what was it?
Team America.
What was it called? The thing that they're going to see. I think it's called Lease.
It's called Lease. Yeah. All right. So at any rate,
it's a good fucking joke.
Yes. This comes from my boy Jack Maxwell. So people don't know who Jack is. Jack is not my son. I have a son named Jack who used to be our producer, editor, and director.
It's a weird time to disown yourself.
Yes. He quit the podcast. He got the no son of mine. No son of mine. He's like, I can't do this anymore. I got a real job working with steel. I melt steel and put it in ladles so that they can make other steel things. I don't have time for your little stupid podcast. That was my idea for you to do a video podcast, and I said I would edit it, and then I quit on you. I'm not bitter or anything. Dude. So, I would say like he would tell me about that later, but he doesn't even watch the podcast. So it's all good.
Not bitter like this fine double IPA from Trogs.
That thing is so bad.
That's the thing I like about doubles is like doubles, you would assume they would be like bite like a motherfucker. But
you would think.
Doubles don't bite at all.
No, that one just tastes like puke. So Jack Maxwell is, we apologize to Tom. We apologize to him a lot in season 1 for our super long intros, similar to the Cure Disintegration.
Yeah.
And Jack is Tom's brother-in-law. I go way back with that family, back to my high school days. So Jack is married to Tom's sister. So that's how I know Jack. And he had said to me, we were on a camping trip actually last summer. We were on a camping trip, and he's just like, man, I like the podcast. You guys should cover Buckingham Nicks by Lindsay Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. And at the time, like I was familiar with the album, because I had it in the garage one time and sold it, and I was just like, oh yeah, no, I know that album. I wasn't really I'm not we'll get into that, but I was just like, yeah, cool, like you're a listener, so I'll put it on. So I will get into the factoids real quick here. So the namesake of the group is Lindsay Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, who would later join Fleetwood Mac. They met in high school in the 60s and performed in a band called Fritz Robney, R-A-B-Y-N-E, Rabney, whatever, Rabyan, I don't know, memorial band, before releasing this album in September of 1973 on Polydor Records.
Can't read.
I can't read. The album was a commercial failure. And despite their later success, this album has never been commercially remastered or digitally released. So we had to listen to this on YouTube. Like, fortunately, there are people out there who took the whole album and put it onto YouTube.
You said it's never been remastered or re-released?
Digitally re-released.
Yeah,
there were some early re-releases, which I'll get into, but yeah.
Thank Christ.
Yeah.
Continue.
All right. So leading up to this one, they were both in college when they were writing the songs for us. They were both in college, I believe in San Jose. They were playing music. They were working odd jobs to pursue their musical goals. And that is when they had developed their relationship, which went on to produce the album Rumors. This album was getting no radio or label support.
Shocking.
With the exception of WJLN-FM in Birmingham, Alabama, which just tells you everything that's wrong with Alabama. Basically what it ended up was this album came out, I believe, in 1972 or 73, one of those things. But basically, Polydor Records dropped them in 1973. But as they say, as one door closes, another one opens. Because during this time, this album was heard by, actually, a specific song, Frozen Love, was heard by Mick Fleetwood. And apparently he loved it. And on New Year's Eve, 1974, he invited Lindsay Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to join Fleetwood Mac. And that is Fleetwood Mac as we know it today. In 1983, so here's the thing. Okay, so this album, like, there are no good, like, number one, it was also really hard to track this stuff back then, because they really didn't have, like, really good systems of doing it. But this album, like, there's no charting, no total units sold type of thing for this, especially on the original release. But in 1983, the album did hit number 28 on the U.S. Billboard midline LPs. So, what are midline LPs? I didn't know what fucking midline LPs were either. So now, keep in mind, this was 10 years after the album came out. In 1982, Billboard started doing the Billboard's midline LP charts, which ranks older or mid-priced albums. So this would be like re-releases and stuff like that. In 1982, they started doing it every 2 weeks and eventually started doing it every 3 weeks. So basically, Billboard magazine was tracking and ranking budget bin shit, like the stuff, the cutouts, the budget bin stuff that you would see that's like, oh, this is $1. So people were willing to pay like $1 for this album in 1983, but not in 1973. So those are the basic factoids on this album. Adam, what do you think about this album?
You should stop talking to Jack. This album's bad. It's not bad. It's generic and it's boring and it's just it sounds like an album of B-sides.
This album is not good, and I would call it pretentious coffee house bullshit.
It's just, oh God. It's just, I'm not gonna lie to you, I probably listened to this album the least out of any album that we've done, just because like, and the fact that I had to take the extra step of fucking listening to it on YouTube, just was the fucking twist in the dagger. It's just not. Yeah, it's not this album. It's not made for me. It's not. It sounds like. Remember how we were talking about with. I can't remember if it was Bob Dylan or if it was with Simon and Garfunkel. Some folky shit that we covered. I always said sometimes, a lot of time to me, folk music sounds like inauthentic, and it just sounds like they're trying to capitalize on the sound of the time.
Right.
That's what this album sounds like to me. This album sounds like they figured out the equation to write a fucking song in the fucking 70s, and they just made they just fucking cranked out a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
It's not good.
No.
I fear that this is going to be like the shortest episode of the podcast, because it's going to be like, this album sucks. Yeah. Have a good night.
Well, I'll say they're both talented musicians, but this album is basically like, because of this album, it destroyed Fleetwood Mac, in my opinion. Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, if you don't know what it is, go back and look up Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac. There are 2 albums that were put out previous to the album Fleetwood Mac, which is the first one that I believe these knuckleheads were on, and what Fleetwood Mac became. Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac
sounds like B101 shit.
It's so much better. It is blues.
I mean, this album.
Yeah, I know. The Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac is amazing musicians. And it's just a better fucking sound, not this poppy yacht rock bullshit that Fleetwood Mac has become. It's like 2 different things. Now, granted, apparently, like, Peter Green went a little crazy and ended up joining a commune and wouldn't leave, like, whatever. Like,
didn't we all?
I mean, yes, we all go through that. But like, just that stuff is so much better. I will say that with this group of people, and I think this was very early on when Lindsay Buckingham and Stevie Nicks had joined the band with Christy McVie, and John McVie was also in the band. He was already in the band, actually.
Timothy McVeigh?
Not Timothy McVeigh. That's a different one.
It's a different.
Yeah, and then
McVeigh all together.
Yes. And then Mick Fleetwood. They did actually. There's an album, and
he had a different kind of bomb.
Yes.
Too soon.
There is an album that out, which I recently had and sold it at our last Otsville Record Garage pop-up event, called Fleetwood Mac in Chicago. Now, the cool thing about this album, it's recorded. It's a studio album, but they basically just did a live recording of everybody in the studio, and they bring up a whole bunch of like old, like fucking, well, they weren't old at the time, but they're old now, these fucking blues musicians in, and they just fucking jam out and make these songs. Peter Green is not on it, but it is in that spirit of the old Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, of just this fucking great rocky bluesy shit. No. That sounds amazing. All the other fucking Fleetwood Mac shit just sucks. And I'm sorry, listen, I get it. Okay, Rumors is an all-time great album. I'll say it. It's an all-time great album, even besides my personal feelings about Rumors. But it still sucks. Just because something's an all-time great album does not mean it's a good album. It just means a lot of people fucking like it. And you can also, as I said many times regarding the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, is that you can and Nirvana too. I don't know if I've ever really talked much shit about Nirvana on this podcast, but I don't really like Nirvana either.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, you can sit there and understand an album's impact and a band's impact and the music, and you can appreciate what they've done, and you can appreciate the scope of their work. It doesn't mean it's fucking good though. It still could be bad. Like, and that is what Rumors is. Besides all my other bullshit with Rumors, it's not a good album. Doesn't mean it's not one of the greatest albums. It's kind of like an oxymoron. I'm like, it's a shitty album, but it's one of the greatest albums of all time. Like, listen, I'm not a fucking expert on music, as I'm sure some people are like, you don't like Led Zeppelin and the Beatles, you don't know shit about music. Well, fuck you. I know a lot about music. But at any rate, yeah, that I digress. It's just Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac is so much better.
Fleetwood
Mac. No, Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac is so much better than this fucking, like, bringing on Lindsay Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, because that shit just it's not good. This album it does nothing for me. There's nothing exciting about it.
So
There's no hits.
No.
And I think this album's kind of pointless.
While listening to this album on the way up here, because I had to listen to the album on YouTube, my phone was always like this, which means I couldn't see the fucking name of the song because Buckingham and Nix is a long name. So while stopped at a red light, I looked up the track list of the album and then turned my phone sideways to see what song I was on. And I said, thank Christ I only have one more fucking song on this album.
Yeah, right.
It's just not good.
Yeah, it's not.
It's boring. It's bullshit. It's
you know how I think this album got made, right? So do you know how and this is what I think happened. So do you know how Kevin Smith got to make the movie Tusk? Do you know what the movie Tusk is?
Yeah, the movie Tusk was, he read an article in I think it's called Grape Tree?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, but it's essentially the UK version of Craigslist, kind of. And it was this person looking for a roommate, and they said like all this weird. They said this thing, and him and Scott Mosier on an episode of Smodcast kind of just rolled with it and made up this wild fucking story. And then they was like, we could fucking write this movie. We can make this movie.
Right.
And then he said, tweet Walrus yes if you want us to make this, or Walrus no if you don't want us to make this. And enough people tweeted Walrus yes that he went, absolutely, let's fucking make it.
Right. But do you know how it got made?
It was crowdsourced, wasn't it?
No. So here's what happened.
Oh no, Red State. He tried to crowdsource Red State, but then got a bunch of ridicule from it.
I don't even. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's right. Okay. Yeah. That's he did it. No. So this was not crowdsourced. This movie was not crowdsourced. What happened was he and that story is correct. If you're not familiar with the movie Tusk,
go watch it.
Go watch it.
It's fucking wild.
Basically, the ultimate premise is some dude wants to turn into a walrus. Is what it is.
No, some dude wants to turn some other dude.
Yeah, there you go. Wants to turn another dude into a walrus. But like, so that's the long and short. It's a really good fucking movie, and it also is the first. It's supposed to be his Great North trilogy, which is
the True North trilogy.
True North trilogy. Sorry, which is Tusk, Yoga Hosers, and then it's supposed to be Moose Jaws, which I want to know when fucking Moose Jaws is coming out.
Moose Jaws is, Kevin Smith has described Moose Jaws, where it's essentially the movie Jaws, but instead of a shark, it's a moose.
Yes, and done in the woods.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Moose Jaws. But here's how Tusk actually got done. So he went on the podcast. They talked about this. He had this whole idea and pitched it, and he gets this call from this guy. Now in Hollywood, there are these brokers who will back movies, right?
Yeah.
And they set a budget, and they're like, okay, we're going to do this. And when it gets to a certain point, like towards the end of the year, they're like, okay, we have this much money left. So what are we going to do with it? And it was like $1 million or like 1.5 million, whatever it was. And this guy from this company sits down with Kevin Smith and was just like, I want you to make the Walrus movie.
Yeah.
Here's $1 million to do it. That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
And Kevin Smith's like, you're going to give me money to make this fucking movie? Yeah. And the guy's like, yeah. And he said, he's like, why do you want this? He's like, I just want to see if you can do it.
No.
You know, so that is how it got back. And that happens a lot. So you'll see a lot of times when you see actors will be credited as producers on movies. So what they'll do is they'll waive their fees to be on like certain movies or these like small indie flicks. And then what happens is they do this on purpose. So that way the movie is a flop and loses money. And then the whole thing becomes a tax write-off.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they'll do. So you'll see that stuff on like when you see like these actors who are in these like little indie flicks that like nobody knows anything about. And then they're put as a producer or something like that. It's because they're using it. They're putting their talent out there and they're doing it, but they're not making any money because that's the contribution. And then it's a huge tax write-off where they can write it off at their price. Yeah. So if scale is like, say, I don't know what scale is. I don't know what union scale is for actors, but
scale is essentially minimum wage for actors.
Let's say scale is $500,000. So instead of them doing the movie for $500,000 for scale, they'll do it as a producer, and then they'll write off their $10 million asking price because that's what it should have been. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a tax loophole. So basically, that's how Tusk got made. Yeah. I think that's how this album got made.
And for the record, if anyone wants to listen to that episode of Smodcast, which is fucking hilarious, search the episode of Smodcast called "The Walrus and the Carpenter," because when they were talking about it on the episode, that's originally what they wanted to call the movie, was the Rovers in the Car.
Okay, kind of like from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, okay, funny thing about that. All right, got to go back, because I was in the movie business.
Mm-hmm.
We, the company I worked for, we were the worldwide distributor, the first worldwide distributor of Yoga Hosers.
Yeah.
In fact, you have
a signed poster of
yes, it's signed by Haley Quinn Smith and Harley Quinn Smith and Kevin Smith is hanging on my wall over there. Yeah. Which funny story about that. So the way that poster came about, so what it was is you have the distributor, right, who is not necessarily the studio, and basically the way that movies works is the further away the name is from the actual movie starting is the least involved you are with the movie. So Spectacast was always first because we were the distributor. We got our logo up there, we got our music, but we were always first because we're the distributor. We don't really fucking matter all that much. And then, the closer you are. So we were not, we were the first thing. And then I forget what the studio was that actually paid the money to have the rights to be the studio to it. But it's actually a local Philadelphia company too, which is how we got involved. Yeah. Because it was this dude, a really nice fucking dude. And he got the contract, he got the money somehow, and he's like, I want to do this. And Kevin Smith's company, View Askew, was like, cool, yeah, let's do it. You're kind of local, that sort of deal. Yeah. And then he needed a distributor because he didn't have a distributor, and that's when he came to Spectacast. And like, hey, I want to do this. Really nice fucking guy, cool guy. Everybody there. Invincible Films, I think, is what it was called. I don't even know if they're still around, but really, really fucking nice group of people there. So they came to us for Yoga Hosers. Now, my boss, who was really fucking cool, he's still in the movie industry. He worked for Netflix for a while. He left Netflix. He's working for someone else now out in Oregon, like a stop motion animation company that I can't think of what they're called.
You've told a story about him on the podcast where you asked him about like an error in one of the Netflix. He did because it's something he used to make him. He used to make you fucking do. Yeah.
I picked it up in the Umbrella Academy, and he was like, oh fuck, they missed that. I'm like, I did it. Yeah. But at any rate, so he got the idea, and I don't know why he got this fucking idea, because it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. So a lot of times with Event Cinema, which is what Yoga Hosers was actually released at through Fathom Events, and then it had a full theatrical run with it as well. With Event Cinema, a lot of times, because you want people to go see it, you do like giveaways and stuff like that. So that's where I got like my Alice Cooper signed poster. That's where I got my Heaven Adores You poster, and I got my Aerosmith signed poster that are up on the wall here in the Outsville Record Garage. And that's where I got this poster. So he got the idea and took the movie poster and shrunk it down into a little thing and contacted Kevin Smith's people, which was actually Kevin Smith's people is Jason Mewes' wife.
Yes.
Yeah. Jordan, I'm going to fuck up her last name.
Something, yeah.
Jordan, Jason Mewes' wife. Yeah. Which is, if you guys don't know, is Jay. Yeah. So contacts her and says, hey, listen, we got this giveaway for the thing. If we send out like 100 posters, can we get some people to sign it? She's like, yeah, sure, send it to us. Actually gave us her address. We sent this box of 100 posters, and then Kevin Smith and Harley Quinn went and signed all the posters and sent them back to us. There was no contest. He just wanted these fucking posters. He just wanted autographed fucking like mini posters of the thing. So there was no contest. So fast forward to Spectacast closing, and I got all the fucking mini posters, which I think I still have some like in those boxes up there right now. Awesome. I think I still have some. So maybe we'll make them Country Hipster podcast giveaways.
Interesting enough, I actually own a bunch of stuff that's they're in my car right now. I own a bunch of stuff that's signed by Kevin Smith.
Okay.
I went to see a live recording of Smodcast.
Nice.
At World Cafe Live.
Uh-huh.
And on the way out, if you guys ever watched the show Comic Book Men, Ming Chen was handing out copies of the first issue, it was the first issue of the Batman run that Kevin Smith wrote. Kevin Smith wrote it, and also from Comic Book Man, his friend Walt Flanagan, who's been in like all of his movies, was the artist on it.
Okay.
It's called Batman the Widening Gyre. So he was handing out copies of the first issue of The Widening Gyre signed by Kevin Smith. And then ex-girlfriend of mine and I took a drive out to the Quick Stop in... We drove out to Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
Okay.
And on the counter for Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash was directions on how to get to the quick stop.
Oh, right. Okay.
So while we were at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, I bought the other 4 issues in that run of the Widening Gyre, and they're also all signed by Kevin Smith, but also signed by Walt Flanagan.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was really weird because I was buying a bunch of comics that were signed by the person who rung me up.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty awesome. That is cool. And I've actually talked to them a few times because we actually they contacted us, the Jay and Silent Bob thing, and they contacted us and said, "Hey, do you guys have any full-size movie posters left?" And I'm like, this is about 6 months after the movie was released. So I was like, "Yeah, we got a bunch. You want some?" And they're like, "Yeah, could you mind sending them?" So I got to send them. They're really nice. And I actually got talking to them. I'm like, ironically enough, I play in Red Bank a lot. Yeah. Like, oh fuck, stop by sometime. Like, let us know you're coming, and we'll show you around and shit. I've never taken them up on it.
Yeah, you should.
I should. But it was like really cool. Like everybody in like the View Askew like company is like so. They're just like they're really cool. They're really laid back. They're really cool. So here you go. Fucking, I think we're turning this into a Yoga Hosers podcast.
Good, because I don't want to talk about this album anymore.
Yeah, no. So here's another. So I got. Oh man, it's kind of crazy now that I think about it, especially with everything that's going on. I ended up sending copies of this movie to fucking 2 very well-known creepsters. We actually got emails. Number one, from because almost all of the Kevin Smith stuff, especially his early stuff, was released on Miramax.
So you send something to Bob Harvey Weinstein?
I sent something directly to Harvey Weinstein's house. I sent him a copy of the DCP, which is like the digital form of the movie. I sent it to his I don't know if he still has it, but I basically sent it to his house in the Hamptons.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? And then also during the run, as the run was coming up, and this is actually pretty funny. Another one of those things where like I saw a missed opportunity, but I didn't take it. Dan Snyder, the owner of the former owner of the Washington football team, wanted a copy of this as well. This is one of his assistants that reached out. So we sent a copy to it. I got it.
Did they change their name yet?
They did change their name. They're Commanders now.
Commanders.
Okay,
that's what I thought.
Yes. So, but Dan Snyder's people reached back out. Now they're communicating with me, but also have my boss and my boss's boss, as well as the people from Invincible Films on the thing as well. But he's thanking me, and he's like, "Oh, Paul, really, thanks for sending that out. We got it. It's great. Mr. Snyder's really excited about it. If you ever want to go to a Washington football team game, let us know, and you could come and sit in the owner's box."
Motherfucker, people were just handing you opportunities, and he was not taking them.
So I turned to my boss, and I was like, "Should I fucking go to the fucking thing?" And he's like, "It's not meant for you. It's not fucking," which it wasn't. It totally wasn't meant for me. Like, he didn't know, like, he said me, but he didn't know it was me. But I was just like, fine. Because it would have been actually cool. Like, I should have, like, that actually would have been even funnier for like me to show up at. Yeah. Like, that would have been even funnier. It's like, yeah, no, I'm the fucking shipping guy. Like, literally, invited the shipping guy to sit in the owner's box. I really should have done it, but I didn't, and it was cool.
It would have been the richest story. Just you sitting there with a glass of champagne and fucking plate of caviar, watching the Washington football team.
You know what I mean? So,
do you know my name, my team's name on the fantasy league is because of the Washington football team.
Is it right?
Yeah, and my football, because I wanted to just call it the football team, and I was like, nah, because the
Equipo de Football.
El Equipo de Football is the football team.
Nice. So that was that, and that I think is better than my Barbra Streisand story. Did I ever tell you that?
Is this where Barbra Streisand threw out the opening pitch of the game and you were in the same room, so you almost fucked Barbra Streisand?
No, that was Katie Holmes. We were in the same stadium. I was hooked up with Katie Holmes at a Chicago Cubs game. I had my shot. It didn't work out, but like I had that opportunity to hook up with Katie Holmes in Chicago at a Cubs game. No, this was again one of those things. This was another distributor we were working with, and they said, "Hey, can you send a copy of, I forget what movie it was."
Yentl.
What's that?
Yentl.
No, it wasn't Yentl. It was Half a Yellow Moon, which is about like a African Revolution thing or whatever. Half a Yellow Sun, something like I forget. What at any rate, so
Half a Yellow something.
Yes, I get the message like, "Hey, could you send it to this address?" So I send it to the address, and they get it. And the next day, I get this call from this woman who's really nice, and she's like, "Hey, how do we play this? I'm like, well, we don't know how to put this, because it's basically a big fucking box. They're like, we don't know how to put this into the theater. So I'm like, well, you need a move dock. You don't have a move dock, which is a thing that you put like the.
How does this fit into the DVD player?
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's like a literally like
a hard drive.
That you send them. I'm like, well, you got to put it in a move dock, and they're like, well, we don't have a move dock, and I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. I was like, listen, and it was like a Friday, right? And so it was overnight at Thursday to get there Friday morning. And it's in California, in Santa Barbara specifically, and they're calling me at like
Santa Barbara Streisand.
Getting there. They're calling me on a satellite phone on Friday at like 3:30, and they're just like, well, what can we do? I was like, listen, I can overnight you for Saturday delivery for a move dock. I can send it out to you. And
what is a move dock?
A move dock is basically like a dock that you put the drive in, and it has a USB on the end, and it plugs into the server that shows the projection. And the woman on the phone goes, Ms. Streisand prefers to watch her movies on Friday nights. How does she? So I had no idea that I sent this movie to Barbara Streisand for her to personally screen it on Friday nights. It's fucking funny. Because Ms. Streisand likes to watch her movies on Friday.
What do you think she watched instead of that shit?
They went out and bought a movie. They said, well, what is a move doc? Can you send us So I sent them a link to...
I like to think she watched Air Bud.
Yeah, right. So I sent them a link to like different types of move docs that it would work with. And they're, the 3-hour difference between, Philadelphia and Santa Barbara, California. They had time to go out and buy one. And so Ms. Streisand watched her movie on a Friday.
Is a move dock something you can just go to Circuit City?
There's something like that. There's places.
Circuit City, ladies and gentlemen.
Circuit City.
Circuit City.
So yeah. So but it's funny. So
you can pick up one of these things, like
yeah. I mean, if you need one, I forget what we sent her a link to, but they were able to get one in
like a Best Buy,
something like that. I don't know. I forget. We sent her a link to a place in California that had them in stock, so she was able to do it. MOV, if you're looking it up, MOV doc. All right, so this is actually a nice little transition, though, as we're talking about a world famous singer named Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
So I can go into my unpopular opinion about Stevie Nicks.
Go ahead.
Stevie Nicks is not an amazing singer. I've heard it time and time again. She's so good. She's one of the best voices ever. She's a great singer. Stevie Nicks is not an amazing singer.
She's a great Wiccan.
She is an emotional singer. She has a unique voice.
Mm-hmm.
She sings well.
Unique doesn't mean good.
Exactly. She sings well, but she's not amazing. Maybe she has some sort of range, but anything that I've heard of her, she does not show any sort of range.
Yeah.
And she specifically does not show any range on this album.
She's no Susan Boyle.
She is. She's no Susan Boyle. She's no Christina Aguilera. No, I'm sorry. Christina Aguilera is an amazing singer. She has range. She can sing.
She has range. She has range. She just showcases that range too much.
Well, okay, but that's fair. I think that's fair. But she can do it.
She does this fucking thing too much.
She goes up and down.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey has fucking range.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are also singers that I don't particularly care for, but I can tell you they are fucking amazing singers.
Yeah. Stevie
Nicks is not an amazing singer.
She's gonna put a hex on you.
That's okay.
She's a white witch.
She definitely doesn't show any range on this album.
You know the song I do like by Stevie Nicks? It's like Leather and Lace.
I think I know what song it is. Yeah. Is that a different one? Leather and Lace?
Leather and Lace is like, get to be your love.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, right.
It's like a real fucking like first dance at a wedding song.
That's the thing. I like Stevie Nicks solo stuff better than any of the Fleetwood Mac stuff, and definitely more than this. Yeah, it's kind of like with like that episode, not that episode, that scene in School Rock.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, where it comes out singing, baby, you know what I mean. Do you know who was in School Rock? Like the main character. Do you know who played the main character in School Rock?
He wasn't in High Fidelity, was he?
He was. It's the same guy. Jack Black from School Rock was also in High Fidelity.
Oh, shut your ass. Jack Black?
Jack Black.
God damn it.
He was in School Rock. He was also in I think he was in High Fidelity first.
God damn it! You know who else was in High Fidelity?
Who else?
The chick on that Lemon's House.
She was
Party guest number two.
Yes, and she was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You know who does not realize Jack Black was in High Fidelity?
That fucking asshole.
That
Zach.
fucking dickhead Zach, our brother. Fucking disown that motherfucker. At any rate, so I will say that Stevie Nicks.
Is this possibly the most colorful shirt I've worn on the podcast?
Probably. I'm kind of surprised, a little Spider-Man there.
I bought this because one of them
talk about anything but this album.
Hey, is that I bought this shirt because Henry had a Spider-Man birthday, so I was like, all right.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice. I wasn't invited to that party. Yeah, no,
probably not, because it was after me and Ange had split.
And
she was the one in charge of the party.
Yeah,
she makes more money than I do.
I hear it. No, that's fun.
Yeah.
So
it's good times.
Yes.
Stevie Nicks, not a good singer.
Yes. So she's not really a good singer. I will say that, that when you hear her sing, she does have a unique voice. You know that Stevie Nicks is kind of similar to certain guitar players. When you hear certain riffs or certain guitar sounds, you know that's like, when you hear Jimi Hendrix, when you hear Clapton, when you hear B.B. King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix. I can go on and on. Did I say Jimi Hendrix twice?
Probably.
I might have. But you could go on and on with certain guitar players, and Stevie Nicks has that very recognizable, unique voice. But at the same time, I can also point out what a goat sounds like when I hear it, and it sounds just like Stevie fucking Nicks. So you all right there, buddy?
Sorry.
Pause,
no.
Dramatic pause.
I had a friend in high school that used to refer to Bright Eyes. Okay. She's like, "Oh yeah, the one that sounds like a goat."
Oh yeah. Yeah, she does. She does kind of sound. Yeah, she sounds like a goat. He sounds like a.
Yeah, it's this. I in my head driving up here, I'm like, man, I'm gonna try to talk about anything but this fucking album. Like, it's just it's not good.
Yeah.
Like it's boring. It's like I said, it's boring. It's generic. It's just. I wish Jack had better taste in me. Like, and this is what I was thinking about. I'm like, what's going on in Jack's life that he's like, oh, you should listen to fucking Buckingham and Nicks.
Yeah, I don't know. He does have some pretty eclectic taste. He has a really cool vinyl collection. We've discussed it a bunch of times. He does have some really cool, like, he has some like rare Beatles shit, which is really neat. And I haven't seen it. I'm just, he's telling me about it. I don't have any reason to doubt the dude. Like, no. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't mean that to sound like Dickie. Like, I've just never been over to his house to look at his vinyl collection. Yeah. Like, it's just, and that's the thing. I was somewhat familiar with this album, but like, when there's like, I will listen to stuff if it's going to be worth over a certain value to see if it's like worth what I'm selling it for.
This seems like a $2 John.
It's not.
It's
but
less.
Like
it's less.
But I did listen to it. But when I'm doing that, I'm not necessarily listening for content. I'm listening for the quality of the vinyl. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was at least a little familiar with it before this. But I want to say so far for season 2. I am very, very disappointed in our listeners' picks.
We're 0 for 2.
We're 0 for 2, man.
We should probably stop listening to our listeners.
I know. We got 8 more listener picks.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
At least,
I'll give it credit because I know what's on the list, and at least some of those albums I know.
And some of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
But I'm already familiar with them.
But let me ask you a question.
Yes.
We don't like this album.
No.
Jack likes this album for some fucking reason.
Before we get into this, we gotta try this.
The fuck is that?
This is Goose Island.
This is a Christmas ball.
I know.
It's fucking June.
I know.
Is this from last Christmas?
It's actually July now, so we could technically call it. Well, when this is being released, it's.
Oh, you're right.
Film. I've ahead, you fucking moron.
We're in the future. We're in the past.
We're in the past.
Back to the future.
Or are we in the future? Talking about the past.
I'm high. I don't know where I'm at now.
So Jack last week, my son Jack, not Jack who picked this horrible fucking album.
Yeah.
I sent him to the beer. Well, he was going to the beer distributor.
Come on, dude. I drank your fucking 9.5. Now I gotta drink a fucking 7.5.
Oh, this is 7.5. I had no idea. Yeah, you have to. So I sent him and I said, hey, grab beer while you're out, because he was running to the store for I don't know what Jack goes to the store for anymore. And he comes back with a case of Guinness. And he comes back with this. I'm just like, what is this? He's like, I don't know. I just thought it'd be neat. So I have a feeling it was at the beer distributor and it was on sale. So,
I'm sure.
So he grabbed it for that. So we are drinking Goose Island Christmas IPAs, and it is July, so we'll call it Christmas in July.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I've never had a bad beer from Goose.
Goose Island beers have never like Goose Island beers, I don't know what just happened. Have never.
It's so fucking old.
Oh, I know, probably. They've never impressed me. I would say I don't hate them. I'm just kind of indifferent to them. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use those. I got it all over my notes. This is horrible.
I thought it was painter's tape. It's Velcro.
Yeah, it's Velcro. So I don't know really. Like I said, I've never been overly impressed.
I just fucking moved to my hip.
It happened.
Just popped.
It's this album did it to you.
Don't get old, folks.
Yep.
So best advice I ever got was from a patient at the one hospital I worked at.
Yeah.
He told me never get old and fully chew your baby aspirin.
Good to know.
Because he was in the hospital because he aspirated on his baby aspirin.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So I'll say that this is okay. It's just okay. It's not great. It tastes more IPA-ish than it does Christmassy. That's for sure. I expect more like spices in a Christmas beer or a Christmas ale. And I think this is just an IPA that they decided to release for Christmas.
Yeah.
So
it's an IPA they put out in December.
Yeah,
it just happened to finish brewing.
Yeah, there's nothing really spectacular about this. It's like whatever. Actually, I don't think I'm going to drink it. I think I'm going to go back to High Life. But at any rate, what were you saying there about this album? Like you wanted to? I think you were transitioning to the Regina Factor.
Oh, I was saying we both hate this album for some fucking reason. What's his name? Maxwell? Jack Maxwell. Jack Maxwell likes this album. All of our opinions are bullshit compared to that sweet Encanto loving baby angel upstairs.
Yes, the little 19-month-old baby.
She does not talk about Bruno. Don't even assume she does.
Nope.
What does Regina think of this album?
Oddly enough, she fucking liked it.
Fuck that kid.
I know. I was surprised. No, she liked it.
I'm upset that I bought that kid a piano for her first birthday.
Yeah,
Fuck
right.
That kid.
Right. No, she was singing along to it, kicking to. We listened to it a couple times.
Did I get her a piano for her birthday?
You did get her piano for her birthday, and she plays it like every morning. If we don't get her soon enough, she crawls over because the piano's right next to her crib. She put her arm out and start like.
We got her a record player. We got her the Fisher Price record player for the baby shower. I was like, when did I get that kid a fucking record player? I was confusing.
So, but no, she does like it. So, the listeners so far, they're the only two albums we've done. So they have one like and one dislike for the listeners. So that's that. Adam, do you have a top 3?
I have a top 2.
Okay. What do you got?
Stephanie and Django.
Stephanie made it on there for your top 2. Huh?
Yeah, because these songs suck so much that the only songs I like on this album are the instrumentals.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a top 1 with an honorable mention. I wouldn't even say my I'm not even giving it a number 2. I'm giving a top 1 and an honorable mention. And that is my top 1. Yeah, it's not good. It's good. Yeah, that's why I switched back to High Life.
Is there more High Life in there?
There's more High Life in there.
Okay.
Long Distance Runner, I would put as a decent enough song, and the honorable mention is Don't Let Me Down. So yeah. So what's your least favorite?
Everything but Django and Stephanie.
I had this kind of same thing. Pick one, and you're not wrong. But more specifically, my least favorite is Stephanie. Here's why. Okay. Number one, I hate picking instrumentals for the bottom. I just do. But this is one of the most pretentious instrumentals I've ever heard.
Both instrumentals on this album are very like flamenco style. Django being like a sad flamenco.
Okay.
Which is the name of my new punk band that I'm starting. Sad flamenco.
Okay.
But yeah, I was curious about that because like it definitely shows off his ability, their ability.
Mm-hmm. No, it's his ability. It's not their ability. It's his ability. Yeah,
it's his ability. I was saying there in like the gender pronouns.
I got you.
Vague. But like it was super interesting to me that like these songs like they sound just shitty 1970s bullshit folky nonsense, and then you have these two flamenco-esque instrumentals thrown in there.
So this non-interesting instrumental basically says to me, and I quote, "Look what I could do with a 12-string guitar and alternate tuning and 6 tracks to overdub other guitar parts that make me feel good like I wrote an amazing song." And you fucking didn't. It's stupid. It's a horrible instrumental. It's not good. It's not interesting. Just like the rest of this album is it sucks. It's not good. We're not fans. We're not fans.
Let's pray to the fucking vinyl and high life gods that let's pray to this chick on the moon that we get a fucking album that's worth listening to.
I think we will. I think we'll get at least one listener album that's worth listening to.
No, I just mean in general. I don't mean a listener album. I just mean let's hope the next fucking album doesn't make me
pull out. Okay,
this makes me want to never do a podcast ever.
Yeah, I know. All right. So here's the most fucked up thing about this. So as we said, like this is a shitty album.
Yeah, this one, if this album's worth money.
Oh, just wait.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Why? Why, Paul? I'm about to explain why. Here is the thing.
Because it sucks so bad they only press 3 copies and there's only 3 copies in existence?
Something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that is the thing. So and this is and we've talked about this where people will be like, and my buddy Sean from the Unholy Four just ran into this situation. Is where you have these people where like, I have these Elvis albums and they're worth, because it's Elvis. I'm like, yeah, there's fucking 10,000 of this copies like right now in circulation. There's so many of them. It's supply and demand. So they're not worth as much as what people think they are just because it's Elvis, right?
Yeah.
Ton of albums like that. Why do you think fucking Barbra Streisand albums go for 99 cents? Johnny Mathis albums, all that shit is super fucking cheap because there's so many of them.
The market is saturated.
Neil Diamond, you can say what you want about Neil Diamond. A dude's fucking sold a ton of records. Barry Manilow, a dude sold a ton of fucking records. That's why these things are in dollar bins now as used records because there's so many of them. This album,
or $2 Jones on OxfordRecordGarage.com.
This is the thing with this album is because they didn't remaster it. They haven't digitally released it.
Mm-hmm.
They did their initial run. There are a few early repressings, but like not really. So there's not a ton of copies of this available in circulation, which adds to the value. So it's supply and demand. It's fucking how capitalism works, right?
So essentially what you're saying is it's Steel Train.
In a sense, yes. This is the shitty Steel Train for this season. So
the shittier Steel Train, in your opinion?
Yeah, I'd say it's a shittier Steel Train. Yeah. So it's not as bad as Steel Train, though. But so as we said with the listener copies, is that I'm trying to do multiple different pressings, right? So it might be a reissue or original or
you're trying to get an average.
Trying to get an average, right? So this one I went through and I got 5 different pressings and I got the very good plus because like I said, there are some.
That sounds like things worked in this album is worth, Paul.
It's okay. It's all right. It was actually kind of interesting, making me kind of be like, oh man, did I sell that one copy I had of this for too little? No. Honestly, is what I'm like. Oh, Mary. So at any rate, I got 5 different pressings of this album. The latest one being 1981. So basically from 1973 to 1981, there's a bunch of different pressings, averaging in price from as cheap as $43.96 as much as $84.12.
For why?
Because it's an original pressing. So with all 5 of these, that brings the average very good plus value of Buckingham Nicks to $67.23, rounding up to $68. Which brings, since the listeners have been the only ones to have records so far, brings their total to $116. So the listeners are averaging almost $60 a record so far, and we have nothing.
For those of you,
you're going to lose your D.
For those of you who aren't watching the video, I have a look of pure disgust and distaste and annoyance on my face.
Yes.
And I swear to God, if your listener albums don't start getting better, I will fucking kill you.
So shall we grab the box of
I
mice?
swear to God, if fucking Michael Stripe gives me something shitty, I'm gonna kill him again. I'm gonna fucking resurrect him and then kill him again.
All right. So I'm gonna pick because your daughter picked the last one. So
Yeah.
So she got the pick. So I'm gonna pick here for episode 3 of season 2, and I'm not looking. I don't know what it is. Boom. Okay, I got it. Oh.
Number.
Oh, this is number 26. Now we have them. They're all one color. They're all white cards, so we can't look through the envelope and see, get an idea of what it is. I think you're going to be happy with this one. Is it a
look? Is it yours or is it mine?
So this is neither.
Oh, is it a
random booze and wine? So now so one of the things we did, we set this up for this season is this: 10 albums for Adam, 10 albums for me, 10 albums for the listeners. We're going to do one Christmas episode, and then we had Tom, the official bartender, the Ottsville Record Garage, pick out 5 random records from Booze and Vinyl, Volume 1 and Volume 2 by Andre Darlington and his sister Tanaya Darlington.
Hashtag Andre and Tanaya Darlington.
Yes, and this is our first straight Booze and Vinyl episode. Sick. I do actually have this in my personal collection, but it did not end up on my 25. Although I was back and forth. It was on my potential list of 10. Sorry, not 25. It was on my potential list of 10. Okay. I initially put together a list of about 20, 25 records, and this album was actually on my initial list and took it off for season 2. We are doing Beastie Boys, Licensed to Ill.
Nice.
Yes, and this is from
fucking A.
Booze and Vinyl, Volume 1.
What are we going to be drinking? Something gin-based?
Something gin-based. I have a feeling. I'm feeling Brass Monkey might be in. Oh, shit. The first drink is called Brass Monkey. Of course it is. So we got a Brass Monkey and we got a Brooklyn. Neither one have Amaro in them.
But
no gin, no Amaro.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
See that fucking book.
Look at that. Our first Booze and Vinyl with
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that great?
Jesus Christ.
Since you live in Delco, you might have to go to the ghetto to pick up one of these.
Can I tell you something?
What's that?
I almost bought you that issue.
That's great. So next week's episode is going to be a Booze and Vinyl. We got some good music to listen to.
Yes.
We got Tom knows how to pick records.
That's amazing.
Although he does actually have one of the listener picks, Tom.
He does, yeah.
This is and I'll say he picked it before he was the official bartender of the Ottsville Record Garage and the Country Hipster Podcast, and we kept it in there. So
that was early on. He became the official bartender. Pet Sounds.
Yeah,
that was early on.
Yeah, no,
it was really early on.
But like I said, we started asking for people for season 2 suggestions early on. So, there we go. So Beastie Boys, Licensed to Ill is next week's episode. I'm fucking psyched. I am psyched for this.
We talked about it when we covered Check Your Head. The entire time I was listening to this album, I was like, fuck, I wish I owned Licensed to Ill.
Yep. So, and like I said, I do own Licensed to Ill, so I'll be able to throw it up there at least so we'd have something on our little thing there. But it does not go, once again, it's not one of our picks.
Ooh, interesting.
Uh-huh.
What we should do is you should, pull a bunch of copies for the thing.
Yeah.
But also incorporate the specific copy you have.
Well, why? It's not going towards anything.
No, I know.
You just want to know the value, what it would
be. No, but like...
It's not going towards the big D.
No, I know, but like, it's still like, so we're not going to figure out the value of
we can't. We can do that. I'm just going to skip that segment. But
no! I would say do the same thing you're doing for his 5 random episodes. I would say make it me versus you versus listeners versus Tom's 5 random.
But Tom doesn't get a fair shake though, because he only has 5 albums. Well, technically he has 6.
Yeah, but in all fairness, I know what Tom picked, and
we give him Weezer Blue.
No. I was going to say.
Why? What? We can't give him Weezer Blue. What are you that scared you're going to lose your big D?
No, I was going to say. I know what Tom picked, and there's probably some really valuable copies of those things.
All right, I guess we'll give.
So I would say do me versus you versus them versus Tom.
Okay, but the listeners will get Tom's pick, and Tom will get his listener pick as well.
Yeah,
he's gonna double dip on that because he only has 6 records.
Yeah.
So there you go. We've now put Tom. We're gonna find out if Tom.
Yeah. So we'll give Tom his 5 random records. his one listener, and we'll give him Weezer Blue.
And we'll give him Weezer Blue.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Just because he's only got 6.
Yes. Okay. So our totals right now are the listeners have $116 and Tom has $80 for Weezer Blue. We gave Tom at least Weezer Blue goes to something.
Yeah, Weezer Blue is going to be incorporated somewhere.
Dickhead. So not that it would have mattered for season 1, but
it would have.
But there we go. Now we get Weezer Blue. Someone gets credit for Weezer Blue. Should have been me, but whatever.
No.
So there you go. I'm actually kind of interesting. Any final thoughts on this album?
I always say listen to this album and develop your own opinions. Don't listen to this album. Just don't. Just save yourself. Listen to a better album. Listen to Rumors.
Yes, listen to Rumors.
Because
God, don't listen to Rumors.
Because honestly, to me, listening to this whole time, this sounds like B-sides to Rumors. This sounds like something that they presented in the recording studio, and they went, "Nah, it's not good enough."
It makes sense because, like I said, like Mick Fleetwood heard the one song off of this and was like, "This is what I want my band to sound like." I don't know why anybody would decide that, but he did. No, don't listen to Rumors. Don't listen to this album. Thank you, Jack Maxwell, though, for suggesting it.
Yes, thank you.
So we're gonna shit on your album if we don't like it.
Thank you.
But yes, but we do appreciate it. We do appreciate you making the suggestions, taking the time to listen to Country Hipster Podcast. But that is the risk you take, that we might shit on your album.
And hey, my final thought is thank you.
For what? What'd I do?
For making me realize that Pacifico in a can isn't as bad as Pacifico in a bottle.
There you go. I am turning Adam's racist thoughts about the Mexican people and their beer to positive thoughts.
Did I tell you I was really, when I had to go down to Atlanta for work, and there was a Mexican style lager from an local Atlanta brewery on tap of the hotel. So fucking good.
You did mention that.
It's called Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
That's fucking name for a Mexican lager.
Hey, I love tacos, and I love Taco Tuesday. So yeah, next week, Beastie Boys, License to Ill. It's a Booze and Vinyl. I have to look. I don't have it because my computer now is what we use to record on. I have to see if we might have other guests besides Tom on this. We might actually have additional guests.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll have to see. I'll have to look at the thing. So, anything else? All right, you got nothing. I got nothing. Then it is time to